Welcome back, everyone. I am Psycho Emerald, and today it is May the 4th, 2022. It's crazy that it's been a year since I've done one of these videos. It's crazy that I've been doing action figure reviews for 2 years, and it's crazy that I've had this channel for 4 years. I will be doing a 4-year anniversary collection tour video soon, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. But yeah, today we're just celebrating Star Wars Day by doing an update to the video I did last year on May the 4th, which was the top 5 Star Wars Black Series figures in my collection, May the 4th, 2021, which I'll link right up there if you're interested in seeing what my picks were last year. But this year, I've gotten a ton of new figures have come out, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get into ranking my top 5. If you guys don't agree with my top 5 picks, that's totally fine. Of course, we're not all going to agree. I don't think there's any room for any toxicity or hateful comments in the collecting community, because we're all just having fun buying the toys that we want. So if you disagree with my top 5 picks, these aren't what I think are like the definitive 5 best Black Series figures of all time. These are just my personal 5 favorites in my collection. So if you disagree, that's totally fine. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get into this. Hopefully you guys are excited too. So let's get into number 5. Alright, so number 5 is most likely going to be the most, I guess, controversial you could say on my list, and that is Imperial Crosshair from the Bad Batch. And I know these shoulder pads are very inaccurate. It's very frustrating, and I agree. But despite that, I still love this figure. This was my favorite character from the show. I thought he was an awesome character, and I just think this figure captures the look of the character, and this is the outfit he was in for 90% of the show. So this is the one you're going to want to have in your collection, or me personally, I'm going to want to have in my collection. I just think that head sculpt is fantastic. I think the helmet is equally as fantastic, and I just love the black armor. I love the articulation as well. It's just the icing on the cake. You can just get that awesome aiming pose, and yeah, I really love this figure. I really am annoyed by the shoulder pads, but they don't annoy me so much that I don't still love the figure. So I still do love this figure. I think it's my favorite out of the Bad Batch figures I have. I don't have Hunter yet. I don't have Tech. I don't think I'm going to be picking those up. I did like the characters, but I just don't think those figures really look that good. But this is my favorite out of the Bad Batch figures that I have, just because it's such a cool character, and they absolutely nailed this figure, I think. Despite the inaccurate shoulder pads, which still are admittedly annoying, but they don't ruin the figure for me. So that's my pick for number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, so for my number 4 pick, this figure was actually number 1 on my previous list, which not many people watched that video, so you probably don't know which one I'm talking about. But if you did watch my previous video, then you do know that number 4 is going to be Han Solo from Return of the Jedi. Yes, this was my number 1 pick last year, and it is still an awesome, awesome figure. Han Solo is such an awesome character, and this figure just is a perfect Han Solo figure. I think the outfit looks perfect. I think the head sculpt is pretty much as good as you're going to get. It's really hard to get just that perfect Harrison Ford likeness, but I think this one's pretty dang close. I think the articulation is good. The blaster fits perfectly into his hand. He's just a super fun figure to pose. He looks great on the display. He's absolutely a must-have. If you don't have this guy, definitely pick him up. He is an absolute must for any Star Wars collection. He's an awesome Han Solo figure. Just not my number 1 favorite anymore, because there's some others that happen to have overtaken him. So, yeah, let's move on to our top 3. Alright, so my number 3 pick is a very popular Black Series figure here in the community, and I can see why. So let's bring in my number 3 pick, Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. This is a great figure. I heard great things about it, and it is fantastic. The articulation and the paint detail and the sculpt is fantastic. And this could have ended up being my number 1 if it wasn't for that helmet warping issue. The helmet is, I can't get it to be the right shape. Like, it shouldn't come in the package to where you have to fix it yourself. And so that's the main reason this isn't like my number 1 figure, because it comes with great accessories. It has awesome paint detail and sculpt and articulation. It's super fun to play with. That helmet just gets on my nerves because it doesn't look right, and no matter what I do to it, I can't get it to look the way it looked in the film, so that just really frustrates me. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a phenomenal, phenomenal Boba Fett figure. A vast improvement over the Empire Strikes Back one, which was my number 3, I think, on my previous list. So that's kind of ironic that the 3rd place spot has been replaced by a superior Boba Fett. But this is still a great figure for what it is. It's just, now that I have this guy, that's my favorite Boba Fett for sure, and that's definitely going to take the spot. I didn't even realize that until now, that I had a Boba Fett in 3rd place on both of my lists. So there you go. My 3rd place is Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Let's move on to number 2. All right, so my number 2 spot goes to a fantastic, super iconic figure. I'm so glad I was able to pick up recently. I would recommend this figure to any new collector to start a collection with, and that is the Imperial Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian. What an awesome figure. This thing is so well articulated. That sculpt is just perfect. It totally looks like the Stormtroopers from Rogue One and the original trilogy, and of course The Mandalorian. This is a perfect Stormtrooper figure. Personally, I think it's the best Stormtrooper figure money can buy because it is so inexpensive, since it's a Black Series figure. It's not like you're going to go to Hot Toys and be like, no, Black Series is better. But if you're not wanting to obviously go and collect Hot Toys, this is the best Stormtrooper figure you can get. Bang for your buck is absolutely a factor here. This guy I got for like 30 something bucks. I got it off Big Bad Toy Store, so with shipping and stuff, yeah, it would be around $30. Absolutely great value. I wish it came with, maybe a couple extra weapons. Swappable hands is obviously something I would love to see in the Black Series, but other than that, this figure is just so much fun to pose. It has such a shelf presence as that original trilogy iconic Stormtrooper. Highly recommend picking this figure up if you haven't, and I really think it is one of the best figures in the entire line. So let's move on to number 1. Alright, so for my number 1 Star Wars The Black Series figure in my collection, it is Clone Commander Bly. This figure was my number 2 on my last list, and now he's gone up to my number 1 because I've just grown to love this figure so much more the more I look at him, the more I pose him. He has such great articulation. There's so many little features. His little visor, you can flip up and down. You can take his pistols in and out of his holsters. He has so much great paint detail. He's so accurate to Revenge of the Sith, which is my favorite film of all time. And I just think that's the main thing I love about figures, is having awesome detailed representations of characters from films that I love. And this guy is from my favorite film of all time, and he's so accurate to what he looked like in that brief scene in the film. So yeah, I absolutely love this figure. I think it's the best clone trooper they've ever made. I think it is super fun to pose. I think it has great details, great little features to it with the visor and the holsters and everything. It's just a super fun figure. I definitely recommend picking him up because he's actually not hard to find, and he's a really great figure. So yeah, that's going to be my number 1. Let's get all the other guys out here, and I will close out this video. Alright, so there's all the other figures. These are my top 5 favorite figures in my Black Series collection, and Bly is probably my favorite figure in my entire action figure collection. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. Star Wars is something that's really important to me, and that's why I love collecting these figures so much. And that's why I love making these videos. And I know my Star Wars videos don't get as many views as my other ones, but I still will continue to make them because I love making these Star Wars videos so much, and I love Star Wars so much, and I just love these figures. These figures are awesome. Black Series is my favorite line to collect, and I think it is super fun to just sit down on May the 4th every year and rank my top 5. I'll probably continue to do this as an annual tradition. And yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. I would really appreciate that. If you like Star Wars The Black Series figures, I do a lot of Black Series reviews on my channel. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing in order to join the Knights of Mischief. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. May the 4th be with you. Goodbye.